Pretty quiet. Maybe we need to talk about
How you
something.
doing, how you doing fishing?
Thank you.
Can't never fish. The wind blows all the time. It's supposed to be sunny and 80 here today, Steve, and it
Yeah.
wasn't.
No, it's not.
So
Well, there's still some days left. But
even the camera on the lighthouse is not live today because of the high waves and wind that said.
Wow.
I want to take my granddaughter out to tour it before I gotta take her back, but,
Is this from you?
oh, you're taking my pen? Have to make notes on, we need sleep in more, huh?
The Riverside Charter's been locking up like 20-30 fish a day.
Is that right?
Oh, man, I saw some big fish online last night.
Really?
Somebody caught.
But they were,
Lake trout, right?
they're probably half lake trout.
Yeah.
Nice sized lake trout.
Well, sooner or later, summer's coming, I hope.
Yeah,
I don't feel that this was very forthcoming in my interview process.
yeah, right. We didn't.
I was told about winter. I didn't know there was no summer.
It happens 2 days, yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, it's the first day of summer, what, Sunday?
Is it? Okay. Well, nothing
Yeah.
wrong yet.
What did I read? Every 6 or 7 years, the first day of summer is on Father's Day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That makes sense. It's got a rotation.
Yeah.
1 day
Nice.
per year
Um,
and 1 leap year.
yeah, it's, but the storms, did you get a chance to watch the news this morning?
No,
I just watched it really briefly. The whole Midwest has been just terrorized with storms
Oh,
and
yeah.
tornadoes.
Same?
My daughter lives in
Yeah.
Detroit and she's been there,
Okay.
I don't know, for 15, 16 years. She's never heard sirens, not police sirens, warning sirens for tornadoes and bad weather like she has this year.
As soon as you're done, then take some. Go at it, Sue.
I'll leave it with that and I'll just pick it all up. Then there's no rush. Because I don't know.
I can do it if you don't want to, so.
Steve, you're gonna open the meeting and turn it over to me.
What's the agenda here?
Yeah.
Okay, it is 9 o'clock. I'd like to open the annual meeting for the Manistee Housing Commission. Roll call.
Commissioner Mycheck,
Here.
Commissioner Szymanski,
Here,
Commissioner Goodman. Absent Commissioner Pelton.
Over here.
Okay, I knew that. President
Sorry.
Positive.
Here,
So Steve, you'll turn it over to me now.
election of officer.
Yeah. Yep, all right. So this is the annual meeting of the Manistee Housing Commission. The first item on our annual meeting is call to order. We've completed that and completed the role. The second item is election of officers. So I will open the floor for nominations for president, chair of the Housing Commission.
I would like to say that I've been the president for the last 3.5 years, and I'm going to decline any nomination. And I would nominate Mick Szymanski.
I'll support that.
Jenny to nominate Nick.
I've been wanting something.
Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations for president?
I'd like to nominate Karen, but I don't want to do that without
I-
repeating.
I don't either.
Knowing what her,
And with everything else going on in their life, I'm,
so.
but if, can we nominate her to stay as vice chair? Yeah, let's do
You
it.
can when it happens.
Yep.
I mean.
No more nominations?
Nope.
President, all right, we're gonna close the nominations for president. All those in favor of Mick Szymanski for president for the next year, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, congratulations, Mick, you are the chair.
Oh, I would like to say, back when I first became president, our then mayor, Linda Beaton, gave me this gavel and knocker. I've never used it, so I'm gonna turn it over to now.
All right. The second nomination or the second position is vice chair or vice president, and the floor is open for nominations.
I nominate Karen Goodman.
I second that.
Are there any other nominations for vice president? We'll consider nominations closed. All those in favor of Karen Goodman for vice president, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The same. All right, Karen is vice chair. So I think we have treasurer.
That's it,
I was the treasurer.
because the secretary is always the executive.
The executive director, okay. So let's nominate a
Treasurer.
treasurer. Or the floor is open for nomination.
Can the president be the treasurer?
I don't think so.
Treasurer.
No, not really. I'm the treasurer.
Sue, do you want to be treasurer?
What do I have to do?
And sign your name a lot.
It's not more, it's really not more time. It's mostly just signing papers. and-
Okay, I'll do it.
I nominate Sue.
I'll second.
Sue Mike.
All right, are there any other nominations? All right, nominations are closed. All those in favor of Sue as treasurer, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Same. And that will conclude our annual meeting.
Okay.
So
So I will now open it up to the regular meeting.
President Szymanski will open it up to the
Okay.
regular meeting.
We have to close the meeting.
No, so Steve,
Habits are hard to
I should close it. because, yeah.
So,
We're gonna close the annual meeting at 9:06.
I have to move to close it.
Yeah, I think that's
I'll
probably
make a
good.
motion to close the annual meeting.
I'll
I
second.
second that.
All
We're
those-
being recorded, so
Yep.
somebody can do the minutes from
Yep.
this. one.
All right, we are on to the regular meeting.
Okay. Call to order. We already took a roll, so amendment to the agenda. The amendments,
None.
moving on, public comments on agenda related items. Any comments? If there's no comments, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Consent agenda includes approval of minutes, regular meeting minutes from May 21st, 2026, approval of bills and disbursements for May 2026, and the financial report for April of 2026. Do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I moved to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I second that.
Any other comments? Not? All in favor? Opposed?
Oh, that
Motions?
that reminded me, Mick. Maybe assignments. Happen at the annual meeting. That, I think, right? Or do they happen just whenever the president wants to go?
Yeah, I think we could actually add that under, maybe that's good under new business.
Okay. We will make an adjustment to add B. Committees.
That's a good point.
I don't recall in the bylaws that there's a time frame for committees, as long as they're board members. So I don't know if there's a mandatory adjustment in that time period, but
Well, right now, Mick is on the
fine.
Finance.
and he's president.
So you were. It doesn't matter.
What doesn't?
No, I don't.
He can be
think-
on a
You were
committee.
on the finance.
Yeah, just as long as it's only two.
Oh, that's right.
You were on the finance.
I say you were with me.
Sue and I were on the financial.
That's right.
Mick was before.
Right.
Okay, we're good. Keep going.
Okay.
Okay, so we are now to Old business. Maintenance garage discussion, 256th Avenue.
Yeah, so the maintenance garage, last time I reported that, it was encouraged to have an engineer maybe look at it and clear some things. We had an engineer show up, and look at the building. And as I had reported previous to that, they confirmed what I had reported as my, layperson, understanding, which was there isn't any obvious structural issue with the building. There might need to be a couple of tails cut off of the trusses. And so any bids we get, we would have to consider that we can't see the full truss structure. And so if there is damage to it, we would have to sister some together and put new ones in. But that is not evident. And the engineer does not feel that it requires a full engineering of the building, that it can be replaced as it is, as I reported earlier, which is sheeting, drying out, new coverage, and then kills to mitigate any water issue. We have obtained a couple of bids, but I want to put a whole package together and be able to present it as a whole rather than a bunch of different information. So I am on to 2 bids obtained, and I'll present those at a later date, but everything looks really good.
Can we give us a ballpark of where we are as far as numbers for the bids?
Yeah, absolutely. We're just shy of 30,000 on the 2 bids I've received. One of the bids also actually covers to redo the metal on this side of the building that's facing us now. Also to do 2 new man doors, also to do some eaves and fix a gutter issue. It was a full look at the exterior to try to protect it from the water. The other company is a purely a roofing company, and that roofing company bid approximately the same amount. But I will say that the person or the group that bid that provided with the all metal option and such to fix those areas was also the one that initiated calling the city in to verify that we would be good to go. And also is the one that contacted the engineer, who I met with as well. It wasn't an independent look, but they also facilitated us in being successful in making sure we were dotting our i's and crossing our t's. We're just shy of 30,000.
Would you put a shingle roof back on it, or would you put a metal roof?
Metal roof.
Good, I agree with that.
And we're looking at, the life now of the building with these exterior repairs. This could extend the life by many, many, many years, 20, 30 years.
Well, the main floor is all broke up inside the building, isn't it?
It's not broke up. There's a crack and there's a little bit of misalignment on the elevation. So this isn't a public space. And so, we could maybe grind down a little bit and maybe paint some high vis yellow, but the only people that have access to that are staff and employees that are in maintenance and such. It's not something I looked at because that opens another thing, and we're not looking to preserve the building forever. We're looking to preserve it for the lifetime of a new roof.
Okay.
The other thing to talk about as we do, again, we'll bring this forward later. I will have to be in contact with the asset managers of any of the ownership groups and make sure that they're fully informed as we move forward. You just want to be fair to all parties as we don't want to be intransparent, but I'll come back with a full report later. But everything looks good and what I had originally reported.
Good luck with that.
I'm going to communicate and be transparent and do my best to get everybody aligned. That building was a part of the initial RAD development plan. It's in that plan. And obviously that isn't a structure that was completed during that time. So I'm hoping that we can come to terms of understanding the value of the building.
Good.
And the building has some value to the public housing
Oh, yeah.
program because. So as we think about paying for it, we may need to be creative on, contributing money from the housing commission or nonprofit or however. So, but think that's to be determined, yeah.
Well, it was in the original RAD,
It was. Yep.
so I don't know as far as Manistee Housing Commission and the public housing has any, what's the word? Liability toward that building.
I don't know if we have obligation to it, but I do know that we do utilize it. And so if we allow this building to, if we allow it to go one more year, I'm afraid I won't be able to report with such good news. And then we wouldn't have the utilization of the building. So yeah, those are factors for sure. We haven't gotten there yet. We're going to talk about the ground space over here in a few minutes. It had been talked about previously, maybe moving it over here. And after I report on that, I think we'll realize the value of leaving the building where it is and not trying to relocate this building or rebuild it.
Well, The second under old business B
Mhm.
will come right in line with the ownership group.
Yeah, most all of these do based on the cost.
Okay.
So that brings us to the Spicer Group, Sixth Avenue storm evaluation.
Yep, so Spicer came back to us after that review of everything. This is for the full repair to any water drainage issues in the area for the full streets. This isn't the small kind of intermediary step I had talked about. This is the full review. And so they proposed three different ways this could be looked at. One way we have to analyze first, because it's kind of it would have to be selected if it's this way, and that is that there's conflicting images and drawings I've seen and no clear documentation as to if those roof drains drain into the city drainage system and are pumped from a pump house down here, which that's the original drawings, or if they're now disconnected and ran as gray water like they would normally be. The reason that's important is because the way of diverting it into the city is no longer allowed per the state laws,
Correct.
which would mean that we would not have an option. That would have to be done. So that's option A all by itself, because there's nothing else to consider if that's that. So on the 30th of this month, I have that 3-inch water line being repaired. I also have another small sewer leak, not sewer, but a drain pipe in the building that's being reviewed. I'm also going to have those roof drains cambered at that same point, so that I can get back to you and the other groups to let them know how those are ran. So again, that's option 1A. But the other, yes,
So
so
what you're saying is we can direct flow it into the river, but we can't go through the pump station to do it.
there would be more. What I can say is we can't go through a pump station and go into the city system. That's yeah, I can only make that statement definitively.
But we should have known that, because they've been smoking the drains to find those that had water coming in, rainwater coming in. We should have known by now if that is the case. I'm surprised that it's come up, because they've been trying to evaluate how many homes have their rainwater or drain water going into the sanitary system.
Yeah.
Because obviously that overloads it.
Mhm.
But I thought that they had contacted all of the businesses and residents that were in violation, and they push smoke through, and it comes out of your burnt drain pipes, and it's pretty easy to figure it out if there's steam coming off. the
For
roof.
sure.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was always under the assumption that it direct flows into the river from here.
But
So I'll find, it's gonna be
certainly
very,
possible, but
it's gonna be inexpensive, a camera scope to know that. The city, city's involved in these emails. I have a group
Uh-huh.
email with that and an engineering group, Spicer. And no one has come forward and said, in fact, they've questioned it. So it's not, there's a lot of confidence that it's not. We need to find out first.
sure.
So that's option, I guess we'll say one by itself, A. And then the one that could be the two dual options after that, if they're not connected, would be that we could break off of the city system and do our own independent drain system out into the water, I believe. And that's I think the 500,000. But if the whole city were to be involved and do all those streets and all that at once, that shared cost, however it would be broke down, would be 1.2 million. I've already talked to Bill, and unofficially Bill said there's just not that kind of flexibility in a budget. And so that would have to be a long-term, talked about situation, but this is now at least all of the information on how to fix that full drainage issue. No action this time. I'm still gathering information. I'll report back when I have them scoped. Cameron.
Interesting how much information has been done over the years with no action. Yeah, and did Shane Brennan from Spicer do this whole report when we didn't charge us?
You're talking about that massive thing. No, well, I believe there's this is a little bit before my time. I believe there's a negotiated cost shared with the city 50/50. And have they billed or have we invoiced yet? It might be in there. It's not going to be free now. It'll be a shared cost.
I actually read this thing. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, it was a lot.
He earned his degree.
Yep. He's been very helpful. So that's all I have to report on that. Any questions I can answer?
It's not necessary. It's just gotta find out. how to-
Now, do you know if the city is going to be looking at using this to try to see if they could get any state grants Because it's obviously affects 4 blocks or 5 blocks of us. If you go by Lake Shilsky, it's on Fifth Avenue.
Mhm.
It's right in front of the Shilsky home. It's,
You mean the road?
yeah, large enough to fish out of.
Yeah.
And that's been a constant complaint since I was on council.
There hasn't been any conversations with me and the city yet. I've still been in informational gathering phase. Once I camera them, I can engage a little bit more directly on those questions.
Now, the 1.2 million, that 1.2 million would be our obligation, or is that
No,
a total?
that's a total
obligation?
cost.
So we would be 10% of that. 1%.
A percent, yeah, I don't know what the city would expect us to do.
Again, this was in the RAD. This should have been corrected.
I believe you. I haven't reviewed that and I haven't seen that. I've seen some drainage talks in there. I do know they put a little bit more of drainage up front, look like a French drains in the front. But previous conversation with some of the ownership groups were, I don't want to speak for them, but the stuff that I've read, that there's some city obligation in here and they did their due diligence. But again, I'm just an informational gathering phase.
I will tell you, if you look at the original construction documents, the lowest point in front of Century Terrace is right at the doors.
Yeah.
And why they allowed that, I don't know. I mean, everything went through the doors. Of course, you know that.
I do know that, yep.
So I think there's some,
It's the water's coming from 3 sources. This way in the hill this way, so it all collects. That's the low spot for this whole.
so I think the Commonwealth Construction needs to answer some of these questions too.
Yeah, as soon as I have the information I can present, I'll present it to them as well.
Okay.
ADA sidewalk curb update.
Yeah, so I met with engineering group just to go over the ADA structure, the ADA dimensions of moving that ADA access above that drain over there. And it did not appear to be a massive undertaking. In fact, they did not feel it needed to be engineered. They just agreed that they would show up for an hourly rate to just make sure that the grading and compaction is done at the end, so that they can help just the contractor with making sure that it is ADA. One change to that is it's going to have to be more than a curb. My thoughts are to extend. There's a bench in there where people wait and then they walk out that entry. I think we need to do another bench in that spot, because if I pour in a 6-inch curb, that would be great going one way, but it would be a trip hazard getting to it. I can't change the elevation of that whole entryway, not without an extensive contract. So the best way I have figured it out would be to put a bench there for people to wait on the bus.
Yep.
And remove that. So we had talked about a $10,000 cost, and preliminarily, this is now looking at about a $30K fix. So $30K fix for what seems to be able to block, I don't want to give an exact percent, but 90, I mean, a lot of this. But when you have those massive floods, we still do need the full, but we're talking about 30 grand and a couple $100,000. This could do a lot and serve the building, and might save in all those damages. I mean, last year you had an $80,000 flood. This is half that cost, and this is permanent. So I still would urge, once I get that information, for it to be reviewed and decided upon.
You know, I know that in front of Century Terrace or in the enclosed area, there is a French drain there,
Yep, there's a floor drain, great, ground drain, yep.
which is only about this wide.
Yep.
Would it help anything to make it 2 foot wide?
No,
Oh, because it's going into the same small.
Yep.
Storm drain.
Are you sure? I thought it was just going off and into the parking lot on that side.
no, it goes into that little drain on the side, but
Okay.
also I looked at adding just another one of the 3 or 4 inch channel drains on that other entryway, and just that 3 feet by 6 inches was another $9,000. So if we're gonna get close to that cost, we're now a third of that
Yeah.
seating area.
Well,
Right.
or like I said, if you're gonna do it, you might as well do it right and have that French drain go all the way down to the river.
Yeah.
Just channel it all the way around the corner so that the runoff is gonna literally go in a 4-inch drain.
We just have to watch out for the erosion if we're gonna terminate out there. It becomes a lot of study issues. The easiest intermediary step seems to be that bench, and it looks like we can do it if the costs come into what the commission's happy with. And I was originally proposing 6 inches of protection from the water, but having a 2 foot high bench creates a better area of coverage. So I think it'll be a good idea. It's just a little more expensive than I originally talked about.
Right, Shiloh, does that help the water go around the building too?
Well, it would block, I mean, instead of jumping that 6-inch curb, now it's gonna jump the 6-inch curb that's on both sides.
Yeah.
Versus right there in the middle where the door is. So now the only entry point would be that little tiny entry, well, 36 inches, coming this way up that sidewalk. But again, the elevation's a little higher there, and then we do have that channel drain that he's talking about. So I think this would be, and Spicer, also agreed that there was a lot of validity in this idea.
I think that channel drain though is connected into,
The French drain on the side.
it's not connected into the storm drain.
I don't believe so. I
Okay.
could look into that. But also part of the problem over there isn't just the water, it's the amount of debris we get from all the trees. So those drains plug. So when we're all coming in at 3 a.m., all we're doing clearing of leaves. And so those drains out there seem to pick up the water when it slows down enough and there's not debris. So again, that putting another drain might just get plugged by leaves. Putting something to slow the water down might add time for it to be drained in the existing system.
Maybe the city needs to look at different types of drain covers, because I've seen that there are in areas where they have a crest. Where when the leaves pile up, there's an
Mhm.
open chute like you have in your bathtub.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's just an open, so that water, once it gets to that level, at least has someplace to go when the leaves fill up the bottom. Moving on, let's more discussion. The gravel parking area update.
So the gravel area parking lot, went to the city, talked to the planning department, Madeline up there, she's doing an incredible job for the city. But she sat down with me, we talked about it, and it was determined that this is an Eagle site. It used to be a plating company over here, so there is, contamination in the ground. And so I reached out to Eagle and proposed some ideas and asked for some feedback. And their report back was anything is possible if you do enough. But
Pay enough.
exactly. But the ideas I really proposed was, could we put a parking lot and could we choose to do a surface build of something such as a smoking area that's covered or a dog area, any of those kinds of things. And the parking lot, again, they're not the ones that do those studies per se, but they felt that there was a ways to be able to do that without much of a major issue. So I have requested in here a motion to be moved, if the board would like to consider these things, to just grant me the ability to try and get a qualified quote from an organization to determine what it would take to be able to build over there. And so if the board would like, I request that. If we're not ready to move on that, I could gather more information, but we can't build as is. We would need a study first.
So we can pave it. We can make a motion to pave it.
No, we can make a motion for
For you
me
to pursue it.
to hire an organization to come and do a study to tell us what it would be required to be able to pave it.
That would not include the smoking covered area or anything, just paving it. at
This is
point.
just a study to see what it would take to do anything on that.
Anything.
Correct. Because a couple of things that was recommended by Eagle was people would have to use proper PPE if there's dust is going to be in the air. And also we might need to wet it down. They're not giving us those things officially, but she felt fairly confident that based on what she was seeing, that it wouldn't be too challenging to build at the very top without disturbing much. Building a building like the shop would be a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm just asking for the ability to be able to hire an outside consultant to come in, test and tell us what it would take to build.
Didn't we have environmental tests done prior to the RAD conversion?
I believe so.
Remember going through like 100 pages of environmental stuff. And I find it kind of odd that if we leave it where it's at, we don't have to do anything.
Mhm.
But if we pave it, we have to have all these environmental studies and we have to remediate the site.
Well, we may not have to remediate. We may just have to build with certain parameters, but leaving it doesn't disturb the surface. The problem with paving is we would have to compact or remove and we'd have to grade it. So we're changing some of that area. Right now, undisturbed, nothing's being, or not enough is being, put out there that's an issue for Eagle. But doing anything on it does require some studies.
Because there are test wells said.
Mhm.
I assume they monitor them.
But the only thing is that's already been disturbed. I mean, we haven't done plating here in 60 years and the building is here, they already excavated all this land at one time or another. There can't be any area at all between these two buildings that have not been fully excavated
It's,
to make these buildings happen.
Well, it
And
depends on
connect
how
them.
far down they go though.
Well, but they probably went down a lot further than the surface of the gravel.
I can
Oh,
say that
yeah.
Eagle's still reporting
Yeah.
that it's a contaminated area. And so could we do something versus should we take the liability of not
Yeah,
checking for?
I understand we have to go through, yeah, it just, like I said, it's just a little bit bizarre because I can't imagine that would be the only piece of property on the site that wasn't touched.
Yeah.
When they did the construction.
So for me, you know, if there's no discussion, we want to consider things, there's a couple of things that come to mind, which would be do nothing and we just, you know, nothing. The other one would be for me to obtain a bid for the cost to pave it as if there was no issue. So we know what that cost would even be if we would entertain it. And then option 3 would be, we just want to know, and I can hire a consultant at this $5,000 request or less to be able to test and tell us. And obviously I'll move forward however the board chooses.
Since we have a brownfield director within the city,
Mhm.
can they ask if they can come out of the brownfield funds and look at that property?
I could ask,
I
yeah.
mean, Ed Bradford's our brownfield director and
Do they assist with already owned properties or is it that they
well,
take?
we're city-owned property.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like,
Yeah, we should be able to be eligible for some brownfield support if it's a contaminated site.
So we've been commissioned by the city, but it wouldn't be my understanding that the property itself is owned by the city. We were created and
You're
commissioned
correct.
by the city, but we own the property. Well, with the other ownership groups during the RAD conversion. But so I don't know if the Brownsfield would come and assist. I can reach out. I'd be happy to reach out.
You can
yeah,
just ask
I will
a
ask.
question if,
yeah.
no, but you know, we're looking at paving a parking lot now, we're being told that it's contaminated. Is there any assistance from brownfield? And,
Yep, I will report back next meeting with that finding and we can decide at that point.
yeah, and I would, you know, again, if you could, check with the city also and see what they paid for paving and seeing if, would it be possible for them to add on paving our lot onto their contract as piggybacking their paving contract.
So, just so I understand moving forward, I'm to reach out and ask if Brownsfield would have any assistance or ideas for us, and
Right.
you would like me to see what a bidding cost would be to pave this area.
Yeah, and then I would, you know, using the city contract. They would literally just piggyback our paving onto whatever nearby paving operation that they would have. Same company, same place. Typically, it's less expensive because you're not paying for equipment to be moved and materials to be moved. They just add it on to the city contract and they've already pre-negotiated. So it would give us a good idea of what it would cost too. Because
I'll talk to the city. I don't want to speak for the city. If they're gonna change its drainage system, I would assume that would be the time they would be more in this area to address those things. But I'm happy to report back with what the city reports.
So basically, we are saying we want you to move forward with investigating
Yeah.
this piece of property
Yeah, at no cost,
no,
at this time.
at this
Yep,
time.
I understand.
Well,
Thank you.
yeah, under $5,000, right?
That's a separate. So right now, what's being asked is talk to Brownsfield and ask the city a couple of questions and report that back. And then decide if we want to move forward. Because if we find out it's going to be an astronomical cost we're not prepared to absorb, there would be no reason to disturb it.
Right.
So at this time, I think it's a zero cost.
I'm content to put a motion out that you go ahead and investigate it and bring an engineer not to exceed $5,000
Okay,
and get it done.
okay.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that motion. I think it probably is something we're gonna eventually need to do. If we know we have a contaminated site, we need to be aware.
Well, I would just say this, and Shiloh, I would tell you this too, it's probably already considered a site, it's probably, the paperwork's probably been filed with Eagle.
Mhm.
Then it will show exactly what the site contains and what the restrictions are. I mean, that should have already been done if it.
But I know that at the time Walmart was considering buying the old city dump south end of town. They knew it was contaminated, and yet they were gonna get around that. Except for the city wanted to hold them accountable for the rest of the days of their lives.
So I just went through this process and with a building that had some contamination. So what we did is we did the phase 2, which I'm sure is done and I'm sure it's been completed as part of this project. And if you find that they tested and they found something, obviously there's a well there, so there's probably something. So you file that and it's considered a site, then you've done your due diligence, so then there's remediation plans that go along with trying to meet Eagle's requirements. So I think that's probably, there's a lot of that may have been done,
Is
so
there some Superfund money to do that with too?
I don't think so.
And
It's
I,
not Until 28.
I included in the packet the emails between Brandy Wheeler, geologist with Eagle, and me, and she does say in here the different things and things to consider. All she's recommending is we do our due care. That's all.
Due care plan,
Yeah.
that's what it's
So
called.
so there is an email in here that does explain a lot more. I was given just a brief for the board.
So are we gonna make a motion or vote on the motion?
You already did.
Made a motion.
We have a
We made a
motion, we have a,
And you
and I
made the
seconded
motion,
it.
seconded, we just need.
So- Yeah, we're
Right.
still in discussion at the moment, so if there is no more discussion, all in favor,
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries. Heat pump project.
So the heat pump project, we've obtained some preliminary bids. There's still a lot of factors I think that we need to be reviewing internally before we look to move forward. I don't know if I'm not prepared today to provide some sort of report that gives a direction. I would like the board's understanding to give me some time to keep doing some research before I can report on it.
I think, I'm amazed that it's working so well. And it could save a lot of money and consumers' energy would cover a lot of the cost. But I don't know that that's the right unit.
So one of the things to consider is that in our contracts with during our RAC conversion, we have something that says that anything that's over a $15,000 line item on a budget, a variance of 15,000 has to be agreed upon by ownership groups unless it's an emergency. So if we can't get all of it funded and it is a $15,000 cost to us, or to the ownership group, then I would have to get the other two on board to do that.
I thought it was a 10,000. I didn't know it was a 15. I thought it was 10.
15,000 over a variance item on a budget. And there is no budget line item for this, which means any dollar would be over.
But again, if we can show 3 or 4 year payout just in energy savings,
I can present all of that. Yeah, I would still need them up front to agree to it.
I agree. You would.
So we'll just table that till the next meeting and additional update.
The other thing is that Commonwealth will be leaving the ownership group as a majority partner about 1.5 years. 2 years. I thought it was in 28.
I don't know the documents well enough to be able to make a
Their
definitive
guarantees,
statement.
their
Yeah.
guarantees end then, but they're still in the partnership for the.
Well, they are still in the partnership, but they take a 1% of the 0.1%.
I think they're still involved enough at that point. I think that having their buy-in would be important.
And there's no further discussion about them leaving.
We don't have anything to report this time. Yeah. We're just trying to do our best to everybody, work and talk and be transparent. That's really all we have at this point.
So did we vote on that?
Nothing to vote on. It's tabled for now.
Yeah,
Okay.
we just tabled, so. Regional Housing Alignment, exploration information update.
Yeah, I took notes after doing some research. My total note packet was 69 pages, so I feel pretty informed. But what I'll say is that I had a meeting with the city manager, spoke to him about the different options and such. And totally understandable. The city's position at this time is that we stabilize the things that are already going on before we look at opening something new. I'm thankful you gave me the opportunity to have those conversations and to do that research. But I also agree that we have a lot going on, and that rad conversion is going to require a lot of focus. And so at this time, it's a table, just the city has asked it to be tabled as well. And he's open to rediscussing it 6 months to a year. So that's where I'm at.
The thing you have to understand about the city of Manistee is anything from June first to the end of September, we don't do business. We're taking care of the vacation.
Yeah, I mean, I would be able to present all this information. I think that Bill's doing a good job of protecting, this next rad conversion and making sure me coming in new, that I have a good handle on everything before we jump to trying to expand.
Okay, is that gonna cause any problem with our partner?
Well, right now, we're just saying that nothing's going to change.
Okay.
That it's just a tabled item for long term will be removed from the agenda.
Brad, repositioning update.
We're working with Senior still to be able to create a MOU that everybody's happy with. They're working on it. They've had some of their own things going on. They're working hard on it. They're expecting to be able to come back to us with that, but we don't have one yet to be able to review and do much on. So that's really, we're in a holding pattern. We're still gathering information. Nothing new to report.
Moving on to new business, resolution 2026-05, Huntington Bank authorized signature card and certification of business. I believe we just need to have Karen come in. Is there anything that needs to change since Steve is not going to be president?
I think they've got to change the titles, the roles.
Right,
We may need to revise that then.
okay.
I think you could still pass the resolution with the corrections that, that the titles.
With an addendum to the title.
Yeah, with our reassign.
So I make a motion that we approve the resolution number 2026-05, signature card and certificate of business resolution to open and maintain bank accounts or safe deposit boxes with the changes in leadership positions in the signature cards.
I'll
I hear a
second that.
motion.
Oh, you made. the
Oh, I
motion.
made the motion.
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion?
Okay, it's a resolution, so we
So we need a
roll
roll
call.
call vote.
Commissioner Fosdick,
Yes.
Commissioner Mychak,
Yes.
Commissioner Pelton,
Yes,
President Samansky.
Yeah. Yep.
You want to change any of them, Mr. Butterfield?
Meetings, so, I would suggest that we maintain the same committees that we had in the past, if there is no objection to that.
all for it. Do we need a motion on
I
that?
don't think so. I think that's a presidential declaration,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, that's an appointment.
Yeah, I think that the current committees know what they're doing and are doing well, so.
Wow, in your first 40 minutes, you made a declaration.
Yeah. Right, so the long-awaited executive director 90-day organizational update.
Well, I sent this in advance, and this is a long read. This is everything
Got
that.
5 minutes.
Yeah, right. This is this was just a detailed kind of review of the things that have happened in the agency since I arrived in town on the 2nd. So my 90 days, I've been counting the days down for fun here. So a couple of things have been the work orders between public housing and the PBRA assets. We had 187 outstanding work orders. We were down to 27 when I wrote this review. We're lower than that now. We will be doing an inspection in July, so I expect an uptick as we prepare for doing some of those work orders. But at this time, we went from 187 to 27. We had 40 unresolved matters that were documented by resident concerns that were in a file. And when I reviewed them, we were at 2 or 3. Doesn't mean everyone's happy and no one has anything to advocate or speak about. These were just the documented ones. With that, I had also created the form, the resident concern form, that also has the path for those being completed and reviewed. So now we have a process. Also created a daily property walk that is written to reflect some of the Inspire expectations. That's where we caught the water line that has a pinhole leak in it in the basement. We've caught a lot of other things. Something else I'll be bringing to the board very soon. Probably the finance committee is that it was also caught that we have an ADA concrete ramp that's got damaged and would no longer meet that code. I'm working to get bids on that as well. So that was also caught during a property walk. So two major things with major liability have been caught with that property walk. That's done daily now. It's done by the new maintenance person, then it's reviewed by the property manager. The work orders are written and then it gets to me and I review it as well. Obviously, we changed the organizational roles. I redrafted all of the positions with new titles and expectations. I've implemented those. We have, I took the tenant selection plan and drafted 89 pages of internal documents for processing applications. So instead of having to rely only on historical knowledge, now someone that's entry level, if they follow the process, it's check boxes and stops and move forward and elevate. So that was 89 pages. That's now being utilized within the office by the team. And then obviously we're doing things like the flood mitigation, the flood response. I also had requested a grant before to be able to help with some emergent tenant needs and such. And then the RAD repositioning and such, the regional housing alignment. And so I'll really just close with that. I try to be very upfront and transparent with everything I'm trying to do, but it's a lot of information. So every month I try to update you. I believe you also got this in advance in the packet, and I'd be happy to answer any questions, but really this is just a review of the things that the agency has tried to accomplish during my first 90 days.
I'm
Thank you.
amazed.
So can I ask, what would you consider to be your top 2 accomplishments since you've been?
Yeah, the number one is by far the easiest one. The number one accomplishment has been engagement. The city is open to conversations. The nonprofits are willing to sit down and talk with me. The residents are willing to have dialogue with me. The staff is open to me, and I can't implement or influence any change if I can't get engagement. So my number one accomplishment, for whatever reason, because of me or otherwise, it's the fact that people are willing to at least have a conversation with me. By far the greatest accomplishment.
Great.
The number 2 accomplishment, I would say, would be some of the maintenance stuff. I had talked about a couple of things coming in. I talked about that I'm people focused, people oriented, and I had also talked about that I have a little bit of experience in maintenance. And so the ability to come in and review the flood situation, the ability to come in and look at the garage that we thought was not going to be rebuilt and had no more life left in it, to reduce the work orders from that level, down. I think that would be my second greatest accomplishment for the agency. But there's a hidden thing here too that may not be an accomplishment, but something I can't completely, I wouldn't be able to put a number or an idea on. But since I've been here, I've drafted 250 to 300 pages of internal documents that are being used. And the cost to hire a consultation company or the cost to hire an attorney to draft these, write these, and review these, I don't want to put a dollar amount on it, but I am aware. I worked at an agency that got an end-to-end enterprise PBRA set of documents to do what I wrote. And their bid amount, I believe, was 50,000 to 125,000, just depending how many reviews they wanted done. And I completed that internally myself. So hopefully I'm bringing value in more than one way. I didn't come standing on one principle. I came to try and make a difference in the areas that needed a difference made. So, and I appreciate Mark and Lori supporting me and allowing me the flexibility to try and attack some of these things.
Wonderful.
I think excellent choice and really proud of the work that you've been doing. So
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I want to acknowledge Steve. Steve, you were the president when I was interviewed, and I know that you're taking a different role, but You were my first president of the board, and I respect all the board equally, obviously, but you are stepping down. So I just want to acknowledge you as the president as I came in, and I appreciate your belief in me as the rest of the board. And I look forward to working with everybody in the future as well.
Thank you.
All right, reports and communications. Back to you guys.
Back to me again. I don't have anything officially to share. We're getting good feedback. I don't want to speak for those groups. Sometimes when, I get feedback from some of the nonprofits and such, they're advocating for different groups and stuff. So I want to respect that as much as possible as well. All I can say is I believe that the feedback has been pretty positive, and not everyone's happy, but we'll keep working to try and make as many people happy as we can.
Committee reports, finance committee,
No report.
personnel committee,
No report.
commissioner reports.
I can start.
Okay.
I want to first of all thank Steve for his leadership through some difficult times on the commission. Steve definitely always did his homework. And I want to applaud him for stepping up and staying with it. And thank you for your service to the Housing Commission.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Secondly, I really like how fast everything's getting turned over and handled within the vacant unit list. And I think we're gonna get an update somewhere on why Holly Court is taking so long, maybe.
Mhm.
And I love this. I love this so much. I might even try to pop in if I knew, if I'm available and say hi, because I actually got to know a bunch of the residents personally the other day. I invited them to a house I'm selling because the house was full. And the owners wanted to just get rid of everything, and I'm not the type of person to throw stuff in the dump. So I got to meet a whole bunch of residents who came over and got a bunch of treasures. And I liked the idea of them getting to know me and, and knowing that we're open to assisting them in many different ways. And lastly, I applaud Shiloh on his progress in 108 days and everything that's going on. That's all for me.
Steve? As most of you probably know, I've had some health issues. I'm not completely clean. And so I have not been a whole lot of help for you, Shiloh, in the last 3-4 months. Hopefully it'll become a thing of the past. And that's all I have to report.
Nothing.
Well, again, I just want to say that Steve, I think you're someone who is not really, I'm not capable of replacing because of your expertise and your care. I mean, honestly, I think you've been influential in making the progress that the Housing Commission has made over the last 4 or 5 years. And again, I think the city, even if they've not obviously made an open statements, they certainly are grateful for all the work. And I'm just hoping that I'm just your temporary fill-in, and that next year I can be able to say, I nominate Steve to come back as president. So, but you really, this council, I'm the new kid on the block, and guys have done a lot of the heavy lifting, making things pretty much comfortable for residents and safe, compared to what it was, when I was on council, when it was a real problem. And there aren't any real problems anymore. Now it's just an opportunity of making things better. So
Yes.
thank you again.
Well, thank you, Mick. And I have all the confidence in the world to make a better president than I ever was.
No, I know Robert's Rules of Order, but I don't have the expertise. Okay, so communications.
Didn't look like we had any.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
No, but we did have one thing, if I could go back, if I can make a request. We did the presentations 90-day, the thing that I had updated you on. But under part A, I did also have another operations executive director report for the month. So one was a 90-day and I also have another one. Can I give that?
Sure.
So the other one is the 108-day one, which is in front of you. The one stopped at 90 days. This is the 108. So just a couple of things. It was a lot about the things that we had talked about, all the individual updates. There's a couple of things. First, I want to acknowledge that Steve, I never did not feel not supported by you. I understand you're going through a lot. There's an amazing team all the way around, from Mark and Lori and the team in the office to the board here. But I never once didn't feel like I couldn't reach out or you wouldn't be there. So I didn't want to interrupt you, but I had all the confidence and I appreciate you. Other thing that I wanted to talk about was just acknowledge Mark and the fact that of his successful groundbreaking over there in Everett. We were invited. So my wife and I both went. We got to sit there. I believe there's 40 or so people there. And so the ability for me to learn from someone with such experience and also someone that's just successful in this and then be invited to that event. I just want to acknowledge him for what he's done for the city and for me. And then something that Jeannie was just speaking about, which is that those flyers that you made. So this was my big month, from my 90 to my 108. I try to, do what I can. So when I came in,
What took you so long?
right. I mean, one of these days I'll stop working Saturdays, but for now,
So this is just a 16-day report.
that's great. Yeah.
18 days.
I've been working on it about a month and a half, but I've completed it in those 16 days. So when I came in, I believe it was Lori that had established and helped establish the resident council when they came. And so the part of that, they're putting out a lot of fires. And so they really had the bylaws, and then Lori was there and assisting them in setting that up. And it worked for a time. That system was approximately 6 to 8 pages long. I've drafted a 121-page system. And so this now updates from the other bylaws, which had some still public housing info in it. This is now fully updated to be PBRA. In this, I did not just write bylaws. I also wrote toolkits for each position, how to hold meetings, how to vote people in, how to transition, a treasury toolkit, how to budget, how to ask for money from the commission. So this system doesn't just have their rules and regulations. And I can only draft. They're the ones that have to review, revise, sign it, put it into action. So this was just a service to them. And I think the last count I had is between 118 and 121 pages. So this is completed. And I have also appointed our front desk person where Evelyn used to sit. It's now Phoenix. And Phoenix, I've appointed her to position of the liaison between the resident council and the office. So now the council has someone individually to go to talk to and have meetings with and not advise, but be supportive and explain some of this stuff. This stuff is written with lots of check boxes and such. It's written to make it simple. So I then had a meeting with the board members that are on the resident council now, explained to them this whole system and how we'd like to stand by and help them be successful. I work here. This is where they live. This is their community. So, and that's what you saw in front of you, the flyers. And so I've had 4 of my 8 meetings. I had personal meetings yesterday with, invited all the residents 4 different times. And I'll do that again next week. So early times and late times at each building to be able to present to them that we might be able to come together and for them to have an even stronger resident council. And so that was one of the flyers, was that. And the other flyer was the top 10 things that resident councils that I've seen be able to advocate for successfully so that they understand some of the wins that they can have as a council.
That's done well.
Thank you. If you were to see the book, I think you'd like that as well. So yeah, and this is an end-to-end system. There's a bylaws, there's a memorandum of understanding in there. I couldn't think of anything else. I created them letterhead. So trying to assist with that. A final note on that. That system is full and complete. It's not initiated yet. They have to review it and revise it and sign it. I have 4 more meetings left. The other thing that's come up, I talked about last meeting, was they had requested doing a yard sale. And just to be able to protect the agency and the fact that it's not our yard sale, it's the resident council's yard sale. I did draft a 6-page understanding between them and us just about the items that can be sold, can't be sold. Also the fact that if there has been an infestation in the building of anything, items that would carry those things, so those things can't be sold. also the fact of they're cleaning up, tearing down, and the fact that we support them in being successful, but this is not our event, it's their event. It's for them to vote on. It's for them to sign, bring back to us. It also says in there that we'll post this so that everyone is on constructive notice that the fact that we support them, but this is their event they're holding.
Good job.
So we'll get that taken care of as well. But there's some other stuff you have the report, but that's my 90 to 108 day. I'll still have monthly reports. I won't number them at this point. But we're trying to get some stuff done. There's still a lot to do.
See report.
So in the vacancy report, we have 8 units here, but in the last couple of days, we've rented 3 more. So we're back down to 5 or 6, and we have somebody coming in next week to lease as well. We've had some unfortunate people passings and such, so out of our control. And obviously we support the families as they're going through that. We've had some people move out. We've had some people, that just, it wasn't the right place for them at that time. So all different situations, but I think ultimately I'm not a resident, but I've heard positive feedback. We're turning units faster. I have more control over that. I've now taken over the turnovers at this point as I draft individual processes for each step of the turnout to be consistent. So
Are we
we're
doing
gonna-
these turnovers with employees or are we subbing it out?
Well, both. It matters on what needs done. We can paint, usually, depending on the floor type. Vending out flooring is often much cheaper. We have them professionally carpet cleaning. So I would say on a turn, we're typically doing maybe carpet in the bedroom, replacement if it needed, and then having the carpets cleaned. Other than that, we're handling 90% of it, 95% of it internally.
So we're back, our maintenance people are back to painting the apartments.
That's correct. They are.
Okay.
So on the scatter site, 108 Holly Court, what's the status? Just the ballpark.
Yeah, 3 months, 3 to 4 months. I mean, it seems long. I recognize that. It's a full rebuild all the way down to the studs. And when they tore the studs down and I walked the property, I found other water damage that wasn't due to the fire, but at the same time, I'm not going to cover up major water damage. And so there's been a couple of change orders that have had to be done. There's a window one that was done as well. Very small change orders, but we're addressing some other things while we can see in there. But all new wiring, all new, coverings, all new insulation. This is a rebuild. So 3 to 4 months is a lot, but that's a time frame that we've been given. And I've asked for to be able to have a project schedule. I haven't gotten that yet, but the last communication was 3 to 4 months.
Thanks.
Now, on your vacancy here.
Mhm.
You've got 3, 4, 5, 6 that are ready. In Central Terrace and Harborview.
Mhm.
And you've got 5 of them assigned. What does that mean?
Assigned means that we've gotten someone pretty much to the end of the application process and someone's been assigned to that unit. That doesn't mean they're going to get through the process. It just means that they've come off the wait list and been assigned to a specific unit.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
the
3 of
going
them
through the
have got
verifications.
through. The other 2 you're still working with, right?
Well, someone's ready to sign it. They just needed to find a promise to pay a deposit or the ability to be able to pay it. So we had a scheduled time for them to meet and sign and unfortunately they showed up and they just weren't prepared. So we're hoping to do that Monday.
Okay.
Our obligation to the ownership groups and such is 95%. So we're still running at that, at least. We're still meeting our obligation.
Yes.
And this is also the time when you would have a lot of turnovers. And when I looked at historical last year, there was a lot. So
There was.
I from the numbers I've been able to see, it looks like the turnovers are down. And then of course, some of these have become vacant for things that are out of our control.
Out
But
of control.
hopefully, we build a resident council, we build a resident, a strong resident base, and people stay longer.
Okay, so, newsletters, I think we talked a little bit about them, but, again, I think they're getting better every time we see them. More informative and, great to see all the information is being disseminated to the guests.
Yeah, we have changed it up a little bit. It's now that we've changed some positions around, it's now someone owns it, someone reviews it, and then I look at it at the end. We also talk about it each week, meeting with the staff to see if there's things that they want to put in there. And then the next step that I want to take is I want to start allocating a certain small area of the newsletter each time to different nonprofits if they want to communicate stuff. So such as a friendship society could come in and talk about their services they have, or maybe United Way, or there's so many. I don't want to single certain people out, but that's the next step for me, is to be able to provide that small space to be able to communicate about the different services in town.
And everyone see the resident council minutes? Looks like, again, what I was impressed with is the attendance.
Yeah.
Normally there's 2 or 3
Couple.
people. Now you've got, representation.
So I do want to clarify something, move forward with the council minutes. I hope that they would be, kind enough to provide them to us. Under public housing, we're a little bit more in control of the resident council, and we can really press upon them to provide those minutes to us at a regular basis. Under pre-BRA, we don't have that same level. It's a different relationship. And so if they choose to provide them to us in the future, I thank them. But also, they also have the right under PBR to not.
Yeah.
So we may not see them as much. I just want to bring that to your attention.
Sure. And that's certainly up to them.
Mhm.
But again, it's good to know what they're looking at, what their
Mhm.
concerns are, so that we can try to represent their issues at this council. Okay, public comments. Any public comments? Yes, sir.
I got a few.
Yes, please.
We've already hashed over
For
the,
the record, your name and residence.
Dave Melfi, 302 here. Regarding the parking lot, looks like it's gonna be quite an involved process. And, the other question is the trees next to the parking lot. That's an issue that's gotta be addressed one way or the other, whether it's paved or not. It's gotta be in this kind of a step,
Are you talking here in the west end of Harborview? Or right here?
east end, yeah. So you have to, I guess, get permission or get a consultation from the tree commission to look at those trees, the ones that are over mature. There's about 5 black locust trees in there.
Yeah, I plan to have I plan to invite them over to look at all the trees on the property, because further than that, at the other parking lot side, there's some big branches that are hanging on, I think need to be addressed. So I need to see where the property lines are. So I do plan to have a tree review.
Yeah, the big over mature trees are, exceed the height of the building over there. So they did some trimming before, but if you're gonna make progress on the parking lot, the trees gotta come first.
Mhm.
To get some kind of decision. The other thing was the security in the parking lot out here. Kevin pointed out there was a camera installed on the side of the building down here on the east end. How is that working out? I don't know.
Yeah, so the camera, just for the commission as well, the cameras have been installed. We're waiting for IT to connect them. Also, what's been installed is for the electric for that light on the side of CT over there to point in a little bit of the darker areas of this back parking lot. So that's all been installed. The cameras are up. We're just waiting for IT to be able to have time to be able to connect them.
Do we have a timeline? Estimate timeline for?
Uh, Yeah, so it was either I think it's Monday or the Monday following. I don't have that date in front of me, but I'm expecting a week and a half. And the light they already had to put up when they had the boom truck here, but unfortunately it wasn't the correct light, and so that's what halted the light from going up.
As far as the security here, the only worthwhile light in that parking lot is the tall one. About in the center covers center of the parking lot, and the fringes are kind of dark and gray out there, so. But The other question I had is over by the dumpsters. I think there was a tall light over there and it's missing now. You know what happened to that?
Well, my 108th day, I would not have any history if anybody has any historical knowledge, but I don't. When we, if we choose to move forward with any bids on that exterior of the building, we could review putting a bright light in that area.
Are you
Yeah.
talking about the light that's in that parking lot?
It's that concrete
The
pylon, I think.
parking lot. There's a pedestal over there that had a tall light on it.
I think that was
It's missing.
disconnected by our staff. Because they were afraid of an electrical shortage with the water on the panel. I don't know that for fact, but that's my assumption.
Yeah, I don't, those dumpsters fill up really quick and I don't know how much you pay. You know, how often they dump those dumpsters. Now I believe there's recycling going on over there. So the security issue would be, you know, if people are coming in with their junk in the middle of the night dumping stuff.
That certainly happens.
Could be caused
City has the
by
same
money.
problems.
Yeah.
Residents all over the city have the same problem.
Yeah, you find-
I understand.
You find couches in the city's dumpsters.
How what?
You find couches in the city dumpsters.
Oh. Other issues, the breezeway. I don't know if there's an issue, if that's a capital project or a maintenance issue. The part of the breezeway they took down during the RAD.
Oh.
I don't know if that needs to be looked at by an engineering firm.
Are you talking about where it's no longer there? You're talking about the no breezeway, right? Where it used to be there and it was removed?
No, I'm talking about the one that's still there.
Oh, the one that's still there has some rust and some metal issues and some aging. So I do need to have a structural engineer come in and give us some advisement. This building here.
Yes.
Yeah, some of the bricks are coming away and such. And so when I reviewed it personally, it wasn't just a brick issue. We have a little bit of rusting. So I need to have someone come in and just look at it.
Yeah, when it rains, there's obvious leak in there because there's more water running down the inside of the glass than there is on the outside of the glass. But if that's not taken care of, it's a maintenance issue, that's gonna be another capital issue because a lot of the people miss that breezeway that goes out to the street where they could unload their groceries and bring them in and be protected, so.
Yeah, it behooves me why they ever took that breezeway out of there. Because it did serve a purpose, both buildings.
Yeah.
And then they just hacked it off.
Yep, and it's no longer being considered. It's been kind of deleted. It's really no longer something that when I spoke with the asset managers and such, it's not really being reviewed. I know it was a part of the initial RAD plan. Changes happen, and so it's kind of at this point a thing of the past.
Besides the breezeway, it's the trees, security in the parking lots, the lighting. Yeah, those short lights don't really serve any purpose other than lighting up the sidewalk. As far as security, the police department would appreciate the cameras and stuff because of the one issue, the car got broken into and I think they had to take blood tests. Some kids broke into the glass and I don't know how they caught the kids, but you know, the police department says, well, show us your security cameras for the last day or so. Anyway, I don't know if this is a work order issue, but I noticed the hot water in the laundry room comes out of there steaming. It's pretty hot. Whereas the washing machines, when it's going through the cycle and it's cycling, you have a choice of hot, warm, or cold water. you put your finger in there, it's cold water all the time. So I don't know if that's an issue with the wash people or whatever. So,
I'll get a work order in to have it checked.
yeah, they might wanna check that. Maybe their solenoids don't work, you know, you push for hot water and it's all the same through all the cycle, so. Another issue that might be brought up is, helping the residents out here. Maybe during recertification time, if you would ask the residents if they have a phone. And a lot of people won't pay the going rate for a telephone. And there are programs through the government that they're allowed one home phone or an electronic communications phone. People won't ask, and I think that's part of the reason this bulk rate thing became an issue. Just due to the people's bad experiences with Spectrum. A lot of the people didn't wanna, they thought $20 was a good deal for internet. But then you have to bundle and get $40 worth of garbage television. Then on top of that, there was gonna be another fee to institute the program, and I think a lot of people just kind of backed away from that whole deal. The government has tried different issues. I was signed up at one time during the RAD process when they were moving everybody around here. The government offered a subsidy. And it worked out good. It was like $29. And then after a few months, when the RAD finally got done, Spectrum bumped the rate to $59.
Are you attending resident council meetings? And sharing with other are you attending resident council meetings and sharing these ideas with other members of the community here?
No, I haven't. I haven't
Cause
been to any meeting.
maybe if you took that kind of stuff to them and then they could bring it to management.
Yeah.
And our new director is linked with a lot of agencies, and maybe one of those agencies might have some information to help, but we as a commission, right, can't help with personal cell phone issues because
Yeah.
you've already, as a majority, they've passed on wanting us to have a community phone system.
And the
I know
excuse,
there's a new website. And I did use the new website. And I said, well, I was in the laundry room. And I came back between washing and drying and one of my laundry bag was gone. And I brought it up to one of the maintenance people and I said, there's all kinds of clothing in the garbage can in the laundry room. Looked like fairly new clothing. And I think it was somebody that got evicted or something. It's kind of, problem. But the other thing on housing for residents in the community is the senior center has been trying to get some outside organization to come in and work like, on housing, selling some of their property. So it might be something to look into, coordinating with the senior center. That's a nonprofit organization. That's about all I've got.
I'd just like to interject one thing, when you talk about Spectrum. And the reason why the tenants didn't like it because they don't like Spectrum. Spectrum wasn't the only bid we had for the Wi-Fi units. So In fact, the last bid didn't have anything to do with Spectrum.
Oh, it didn't?
No,
I thought it was totally Charter or Spectrum.
Mr. Milky, thank you very much. It's really, again, I think it's very helpful for us to get perspective from residents. And again, you're here, you see things, and again, it's valuable. But I think if you would find yourself involved with this group, I think you would make a big difference to them and also more impactful. So, but I do appreciate, yes, the resident council. But I think you'd be an excellent member for them because again, you're very insightful and you have good attention to details and that's really what we look forward to hearing. So thank you very much.
It's, the bylaws of the commission, it's to serve senior housing and low income housing. So. we do-
affordable housing.
what's that?
Affordable housing.
Or affordable housing.
Again, thank you very much. Any other public comments? If not, the next meeting is going to be at Century Terrace on the 15th of July. And that will be at 9 a.m.
I move to adjourn.
I second that.
Okay, meeting is adjourned. Now,
Our 20 minutes.
No.
now you gotta hope before you go,
Oh, yeah.
you got,
You can.
time.